In the shadow of what was once the pinnacle of human achievement, the world now lay in a desolate embrace, a vast expanse of nothingness where the silence of the present drowned the whispers of the past. The sun, a weary spectator of the earth's demise, cast its final rays upon the land, painting everything in a harsh, unforgiving orange. Amidst this post-apocalyptic tableau, a solitary figure stood against the winds of oblivion, an elf named Eirian, whose very existence was a testament to the resilience of life in the face of utter annihilation. Eirian's slender form, a silhouette against the dying light, moved with a grace that belied the gravity of their surroundings. The remnants of civilization peeked through the sands like skeletons of a world long gone, each ruin a chapter in the tragic saga of human folly. As the elf wandered through the wasteland, the vestiges of the once great city spoke to them in hushed tones, each crumbling edifice and deserted street a morose reminder of the catastrophic hubris that had led to this moment. The night began to unfurl its darkened shroud over the land, and Eirian found themselves among the ruins of a city that had once thrived with life and ambition. The skeletons of buildings, with their jagged edges piercing the twilight sky, stood as grim sentinels guarding the memories of the past. Eirian, with each step, treads upon the dreams and despair of a civilization now lost to time. In the quietude of the apocalypse, Eirian's thoughts turned inward, reflecting on the eerie parallels between this world and the tales they had heard of Earth's reckoning with its creations. In its insatiable quest for dominion over nature, it was said that humanity had birthed beings of their image, androids, whose existence blurred the lines between the fabricated and the natural, between the creator and the created. This world, too, had known such folly, its downfall a mirror to those tales of warning. Curious, isn't it? Eirian mused aloud, their voice a solitary note amidst the cacophony of silence. In our pursuit of godhood, we fashioned our destroyers, not from malice, but from blindness to our nature. We sought to conquer death, only to hasten our demise. The elf's gaze fell upon a small, mechanical creature, a remnant of the world before, struggling against the sand that sought to claim it as another victim of the apocalypse. In its futile endeavor, Eirian saw the epitome of the world's current plight, a relentless battle against an inevitable end, a fight to reclaim life in a land bereft of it. With a gentle touch, Eirian freed the creature from its sandy tomb, a small act of defiance against the desolation that surrounded them. It was a reminder that even in the bleakest of worlds, there existed moments of grace, fleeting glimmers of hope that life, in some form, would persevere. As the elf continued their journey through the ruins, they were driven not by a destination but by a quest for understanding. What was it that they sought in this wasteland of memories and dust? Redemption for their kind? Salvation for the world that was? Or perhaps it was the search for a new beginning, a genesis born from the ashes of the end. The night deepened, and Eirian found solace in the stars above, the celestial bodies untouched by the chaos that reigned below. In their immutable light, the elf saw the possibility of renewal, a cosmic promise that even in the aftermath of destruction, the story of existence was far from over. And so, Eirian, the last elf in the wasteland, wandered on, a solitary figure amidst the ruins of worlds both real and imagined, a bridge between the past and the possibility of a future yet unwritten. In the heart of the desolation that now claimed the world, amidst the silence that seemed to swallow every echo of the past, Eirian, the solitary elf, allowed their mind to wander back to a time when the earth was draped in a verdure so vibrant it seemed a different universe altogether. This journey into memory was not merely an escape but a pilgrimage to the very essence of their being, to the moments that had sculpted their soul from the living wood of their ancient lineage. There, in the theatre of their mind, the curtain rose on a scene of such poignant beauty that it ached. Eirian stood once again in the midst of the emerald embrace of the great forests of their youth, the air alive with the symphony of rustling leaves and the melodious calls of unseen creatures. The sun, filtered through the canopy above, danced in motes of light upon the soft earth, and the streams sang songs of eternal wanderlust as they wound their way through the woodland realm. It was the time of the gathering, a festival that marked the turning of the seasons, a celebration of life, and a testament to the harmony that existed between the natural world and those who dwelt within its bounds. The elves, a people of grace and wisdom, had come together from all corners of their verdant world, their laughter and joy alight against the encroaching shadows of the future none could foresee. Eirian, younger and unburdened by the weight of solitude, moved among their kin with a heart full of hope. The festivities were a spectacle of color and music, where the art of magic was not a weapon but a craft that wove beauty into the very fabric of existence. It was here, among the ancient oaks and the fellowship of their people, that Eirian had felt the actual depth of connection to the living world, a bond that transcended the physical and touched upon the ethereal. Yet, as with all tales of yore, there was a shadow upon this memory, a moment that would define Eirian's journey through the ages. Amidst the revelry, a hush had fallen upon the gathering as the elders spoke of a vision that had come to them, a foretelling of a world consumed by its hubris, where the creations of elf and man alike would rise against the natural order, heralding an era of desolation. Eirian remembered the skepticism and disbelief that had rippled through the crowd. How could such a world come to pass? How could the pursuit of knowledge and the advancement of civilization lead to such a downfall? Yet, within Eirian's heart, the words of the elders had planted a seed of unease, a premonition of the role they would play in the times to come. The memory shifted, as memories do, to the day of departure, when Eirian, driven by a restless yearning to understand the fate foretold, had stepped beyond the borders of their world. The farewells were filled with sorrow and love, a tapestry of emotions that Eirian carried with them through the centuries. Now, standing amidst the ruins of a world that had succumbed to the very fate the elders had warned of, Eirian's heart ached for the loss of green, for the harmony that had been shattered by the unrelenting march of progress and the folly of playing gods. The contrast between what was and what is now served as a stark reminder of the impermanence of existence and the cyclical nature of creation and destruction. Yet, within this reflection, there was also a glimmer of resolve, a determination to find a path forward, to seek out the remnants of beauty and life in a world that seemed bereft of both. For Eirian understood that the essence of what they had lost was not confined to the memories of the past, but could be the seed from which a new future might grow, a future where the lessons of the old world would pave the way for a new harmony between the creations of intellect and the wisdom of nature. In the silent communion with the ghosts of their memory, Eirian's journey through the wasteland took on a new purpose. Not merely a quest for survival, but a pilgrimage in search of redemption for themselves and for the world that had once been a paradise lost to the sands of time. In the lonely embrace of a world scarred by its creations, where the remnants of a once vibrant civilization lay in ruins, a curious encounter unfolded beneath the indifferent gaze of the sun, now a mere spectre of its former glory. Eirian, the elf of ancient lore, whose very existence seemed an anachronism in this barren landscape, stood at the threshold of a moment that would challenge the very foundations of their solitary journey. Across the divide, a cadre of human survivors, their faces etched with the tales of survival and loss, regarded Eirian with a mixture of wariness and wonder. At their fore stood Mara, a figure whose charisma was matched only by her ruthlessness, a leader forged in the crucible of the apocalypse, her gaze piercing through the veil of uncertainty that hung between them. The air, thick with tension, seemed to quiver as two worlds, disparate yet intertwined by fate, converged. Eirian, whose life had spanned epochs untouched by time, found themselves pondering the fragile threads of trust in a world where betrayal was often a means of survival. It was in this moment, under the scrutiny of Mara and her band of survivors, that Eirian called upon the ancient senses bestowed upon their kind, a subtle weaving of awareness that transcended the mere physical. With a grace that belied the gravity of the encounter, Eirian's gaze met Mara's, an unspoken dialogue of souls laid bare in the wasteland. The elf, through the lens of their otherworldly nature, sensed the tumultuous river of emotions that flowed beneath Mara's stoic exterior: fear, hope, determination, and fierce protectiveness over her charges. Mara, Eirian began their voice, a harmonious echo that seemed out of place among the ruins. The shadows of the past linger heavily upon this land, whispering tales of ruin and rebirth. Yet, it is in the heart of desolation that the seeds of a new beginning may find fertile ground. Mara, taken aback by the elf's insight, lowered her weapon slightly, a gesture mirrored by her followers. "You speak in riddles, elf," she replied, her tone a blend of suspicion and intrigue. "What interest do you have in the affairs of humans? The world has changed, and old alliances hold little sway in the face of survival." Eirian, understanding the depth of Mara's resolve and the scars that shaped her leadership, chose their words with care. In the tapestry of existence, every thread is interconnected. Your fight for survival, the quest for a semblance of the world that was, is a journey I find myself drawn to. Perhaps, in aiding each other, we might weave a new destiny from the ashes of the old. The exchange, fraught with the potential for conflict or collaboration, marked a turning point. The group, led by Mara's cautious but open-minded leadership, engaged in a dialogue with Eirian, exploring the possibilities that lay beyond their initial mistrust. Eirian, with a pearl of wisdom honed through the ages, shared tales of the world before the fall, of the harmony between nature and the creations of elf and man alike, a harmony shattered by ambition and fear. As the conversation unfolded, the barriers of suspicion began to erode, giving way to a cautious alliance. For in Eirian, Mara and her survivors saw not just an elf, but a beacon of the world that could be, a world where the remnants of humanity and the echoes of ancient magic could forge a new path through the wilderness of the post-apocalyptic landscape. In this meeting of worlds, the themes of trust, survival, and the quest for a rebirth of civilization resonated deeply, echoing the questions posed by the tales of old. What does it mean to be human or elf in a world where the lines between creation and creator, between life and artificial existence, have been irrevocably blurred? In their shared journey, Eirian and Mara's group would seek answers, navigating the complexities of identity, ethics, and the indomitable will to forge a future from the ruins of the past. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the wasteland, the group set forth together, their path lit by the flickering flame of hope, a testament to the resilience of the spirit, whether bound by flesh or by the ancient magics of the world. In this new alliance, the seeds of a new beginning were sown, a fragile yet defiant challenge to the desolation that had claimed the earth. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, the journey continued, a narrative of survival and rediscovery unfolding in the shadow of civilizations lost, a quest for meaning in a world reborn from the ashes of its hubris. As the twilight merged with the darkness of the post-apocalyptic world, a fragile circle of light cast by a modest campfire became the focal point of an unlikely congregation. Eirian, the elf with a history as deep and winding as the roots of the ancient forests now lost to time, sat among the human survivors led by the indomitable Mara. The fire crackled and popped, a small but defiant beacon against the encroaching shadows of the night, around which the relics of two worlds converged. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood, carrying with it the weight of untold stories and the ashes of a world that had once thrived beyond the fire's glow. In this circle of light, the differences that defined them seemed to dim, blurred by the shared recognition of their collective struggle for survival. Mara, her face illuminated by the flickering flames, began to share tales of the time before, the world as it was, filled with wonders and horrors in equal measure. She spoke of cities that touched the skies, of machines that thought and dreamed, and of the hubris that led humanity to the brink of its undoing. Her voice, tinged with both nostalgia and sorrow, wove a tapestry of human achievement and folly. As the fire danced in Eirian's eyes, reflecting a world they had never known, a human named Jor spoke up. His tale was not of grandeur, but of simplicity, a memory of a garden his family had tended, a small enclave of green in a world that had begun to forget what it meant to be alive. He spoke of the earth beneath his fingers, of the patience of growth, and the pure joy found in the bloom of a flower amidst concrete and steel. It was a sanctuary, Jor said, his voice barely above the crackle of the fire. A reminder that, even in a world captivated by its complexity, the simplest forms of life hold the most profound beauty. We lost so much when we forgot that truth. Eirian, moved by the story, saw in Jor's words a reflection of the harmony that had once existed in their world, a balance between the natural and the created, between growth and ambition. It was a resonance of the elfin belief in the sanctity of all life, a thread that connected their disparate experiences across the chasm of species and time. "The world you describe," Eirian began, their voice melding with the warmth of the fire, "reminds me of the forests of my youth, where every leaf and stream spoke of the interconnectedness of being. Your garden, Jor, is not so different from the sacred groves of my people. Perhaps, in our quest for survival, we are also seeking a return to that which we have lost, a world where the essence of life is revered." The group, captivated by Eirian's perspective, found themselves drawn into a reflection on the values that had led them to this point. In the stories shared around the fire, a bridge was formed, not merely of words, but of understanding and empathy. The seeds of trust, sown in the fertile ground of shared fears and hopes, began to take root. As the night deepened, the alliance, once fragile, grew more substantial in the crucible of shared stories. They were no longer just a band of survivors clinging to the remnants of a shattered world, but a collective of souls seeking to reclaim a sense of purpose and belonging in the vast tapestry of existence. In the glow of the campfire, amidst the ruins of a civilization lost to its ambitions, a new narrative was being forged. It was a story of resilience, of the convergence of paths diverged by time and fate, and of the possibility that, even in the darkest of times, hope could be kindled from the ashes of despair. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars, the group settled into an uneasy rest, bound by a newfound camaraderie. For Eirian, the encounter illuminated the path forward, revealing that the journey to healing and renewal was not one to be walked alone, but in the company of those who, despite their differences, shared a common dream of a world reborn. In the bleak vastness where the ruins of civilization whispered tales of a bygone era, the fragile alliance formed under the canopy of stars was suddenly and violently tested. The group, united by necessity and the faint glimmer of hope, found themselves in the throes of an ambush. Raiders, as ruthless as the world had made them, descended upon them with a ferocity born of desperation. The night air, once filled with the tentative bonds of shared stories, was now thick with the sounds of conflict, shouts, the clash of makeshift weapons, and the unnerving silence that fell upon those who would stand no more. In this crucible of survival, Eirian, the elf whose existence was a bridge between what was and what might be, stood as the fulcrum upon which the fate of the group balanced. As the raiders closed in, a vivid display of magic as ancient as the stars above burst forth from Eirian. Light, pure and searing, cut through the darkness, a tangible manifestation of their will to protect not just themselves but the fragile collection of souls who had become their companions. The humans, armed with the remnants of a world lost to folly, fought with renewed vigor beside Eirian, their awe at the elf's power mingled with the adrenaline of battle. The tide turned, not just on the field of battle but within the hearts of those who fought. The raiders, unprepared for the unity of magic and determination, fell back, scattered by the unexpected resistance. The group's victory was hard-won, the cost etched in the wounds they bore and the shadows that grew in their eyes. In the aftermath, as the adrenaline waned and the reality of their vulnerability settled upon them, a moment of profound connection unfolded. Eirian, who had stood against the tide of darkness, now faltered, the toll of their magic evident in the pallor of their skin and the tremor in their hands. It was a vulnerability they had not shown, a crack in the facade of timeless strength that they had unwittingly maintained. Mara, who had led her people through the fire of the world's end, knelt beside Eirian, her hand reaching out to steady the elf. "Your magic," she began, her voice a mix of wonder and concern, "it saved us, but at what cost to you?" Eirian looked up, their eyes reflecting the flickering light of the campfire reborn, a phoenix from the ashes of battle. "The cost," they whispered, "is measured not in the moment but in the possibility of tomorrow. Your survival, our survival, is worth every ounce of strength I possess." The group, drawn together by the shared peril, found a new depth to their alliance at that moment. Jaw, the keeper of gardens and memories, fetched water, while others tended to the injuries with the quiet efficiency born of too many nights like this. As they worked, the barriers between them, once defined by species and history, seemed to blur. They were no longer merely a band of survivors, they had become a semblance of a community forged in the heat of conflict and the recognition of their mutual dependence. In the quiet that followed, as watchful eyes turned to the horizon, wary of further threats, a sense of solemnity settled over the group. They had faced the darkness together and emerged not unscathed but stronger, bound by the knowledge that their survival depended not just on the strength of arms but on the strength of their bond. This encounter, a vivid testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring magic of the ancient world, was a beacon of hope in a land shadowed by despair. For Eirian and the survivors, the journey ahead remained fraught with dangers, but the path they would walk together, a united front against the night. And so, under the watchful gaze of a world forever changed, the group settled into the uneasy peace of the aftermath, their bonds a fragile web of trust and shared destiny, weaving together the threads of a future yet to be written. In the hush that follows the tempest, beneath the burgeoning light of dawn that seeks to mend the scars left by darkness, a moment of profound revelation unfolds. The survivors, their faces etched with the trials of the night, gather around the campfire, now a beacon of their renewed bond, to witness a truth hitherto veiled in the mists of enigma. Eirian, the elf whose very presence is a bridge to a world nearly forgotten, stands before them, an embodiment of ages past and the custodian of secrets that have long whispered through the boughs of ancient forests. With a solemnity born of countless years, Eirian begins to unravel the tapestry of their existence, each word a thread woven from the very essence of the natural world. "My life," they start, their voice a gentle echo of the earth's song, is tethered to the heart of this planet. "The magic that flows through my veins is the legacy of the land itself, a gift from the fabric of creation." The survivors, encircled around the flicker of the fire, listen with rapt attention as Eirian speaks of the elves' symbiotic relationship with the natural world, of how their longevity and powers are a direct communion with the Earth's vitality. But this connection, Eirian continues, a shadow crossing their features, was not spared the ravages of war. As your world was torn asunder, so too was the harmony that once flourished between our kind and the essence of life. The devastation you see, the barrenness that surrounds us, is mirrored in the diminishing of our magic, a fading echo of what once was. In this moment of vulnerability, the air itself seems to hold its breath as the weight of Eirian's revelation settles upon the group. The survivors, each grappling with the implications of such a connection, find themselves at the crossroads of wonder and worry. Mara, ever the leader, is the first to voice the burgeoning question that hangs between them. Your magic, Eirian, she says, her gaze piercing the veil of the morning light, could it be the key to not just our survival, but the rebirth of this world? A debate arises among the survivors, a storm of voices that reflects the complexity of their newfound alliance. Some see in Eirian's powers a beacon of hope, a means to reclaim and rejuvenate the desolation that has claimed their reality. Others, wary of the burdens such power might carry, question the wisdom of leaning too heavily on forces so deeply intertwined with a world that has already paid a heavy price for its follies. Eirian listens, their expression a tableau of contemplation, as the survivors wrestle with the potential and perils of the path that lies before them. The magic I wield, they finally respond, is not a panacea for the scars that mar our world. It is a remnant of a balance that once was, a reminder of the harmony that must be restored, not just through power, but through understanding, respect, and the collective will to mend what has been broken. The group falls silent, each member lost in thought, as the first rays of the sun crest the horizon, painting the world in hues of hope and renewal. In the light of Eirian's revelation, the survivors find not just the promise of magic, but the deeper magic of unity and the shared dream of a world reborn from the ashes of its destruction. As they rise, the group is no longer a mere assembly of individuals bound by circumstance, but a covenant of souls committed to the journey ahead, guided by the ancient wisdom of an elf and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Together, they step into the dawning day, their path illuminated by the shared light of their resolve to face the challenges that await and to weave a new destiny from the remnants of a world waiting to be healed. Thus, in the aftermath of revelation and amid the whispers of a waking world, the fragile alliance forges ahead, strengthened by the shared recognition of their interdependence and the collective pursuit of a future where the echoes of magic and the resilience of the human spirit might once again flourish in harmony. Amid the arid expanse that stretched beneath a sun too weary of scorning the earth, it warmed lay the city, a testament to human resilience and adaptability. This urban oasis, rising from the sands of desolation, welcomed Eirian and the group of survivors into its embrace, a mosaic of the old world and the new. As they entered, the air buzzed with the electricity of survival, of life clawing back from the brink, of a community forging existence from the remnants of civilization. The city was a patchwork of ruins reborn, structures that bore the scars of the past while hosting the seeds of the future. Solar panels gleamed atop ramshackle buildings, and wind turbines stood like sentinels against the skyline, a stark contrast to the derelict technology of a bygone era that littered the streets alongside. It was in this crucible of past and present that Eirian encountered a relic of the old world, a piece of technology so advanced yet so inherently tied to the cataclysm that had reshaped the Earth. The device, its surfaces smooth and alien against the backdrop of the city's rugged pragmatism, seemed to hum with a dormant power, its purpose obscured by time yet palpable in the air that trembled around it. Eirian's touch upon the relic stirred the ethers of memory, drawing forth images of a time when the world teetered on the precipice of its ambition. They recall tales whispered among the ancient trees of their homeland, warnings of a future in which the creations of elf and man alike threatened to eclipse the natural order, where the pursuit of knowledge and power had birthed technologies capable of both miracles and annihilation. The group, observing Eirian's contemplation, watched in silence, their curiosity mingled with an instinctive trepidation. Mara, ever vigilant, stepped closer, her gaze fixed upon the device. "What is it?" she asked, her voice a bridge between the worlds of magic and technology. Eirian, their eyes reflecting the depth of centuries, answered, "A reminder of the folly that led us here. This technology, born of a desire to transcend the limits of our existence, became a harbinger of our downfall. It is a testament to the duality of progress, the light and shadow cast by our endeavors." The survivors gathered around the relic and were drawn into a debate as vibrant and varied as the tapestry of the city itself. They pondered the implications of such technology for their journey ahead, weighing the allure of forgotten knowledge against the lessons etched in the ruins of the past. "Some say the path to our salvation lies in reclaiming these relics, in mastering the secrets they hold," ventured Jaw, his voice echoing the hope that flickered in the hearts of many. "Yet, we must tread carefully," countered another, "for the same ambition that once sought to elevate us also brought us to the brink. Are we to repeat the errors of our ancestors, or can we forge a new path?" Eirian, listening to the exchange, saw in their words the reflection of a timeless struggle, the quest for harmony between the marvels of creation and the wisdom of restraint. "The journey we undertake," they offered, "is not to reclaim the past but to learn from it. We stand at the confluence of what was and what could be, and in our hands lies the power to shape a future that honors both our heritage and the lessons of our fall." The city, with its blend of ruin and renewal, stood as a microcosm of the world at large, a world waiting for those brave enough to dream of rebirth amidst the ashes. As the group ventured deeper into the heart of the urban labyrinth, their mission clear and their resolve unwavering, they carried with them the knowledge that the road to redemption lay not in the relics of the past but in the unity and purpose of the present. In this way, Eirian and the survivors moved through the city, a beacon of hope in a land shadowed by memories, their steps a testament to the potential for a new dawn, where the echoes of ancient magic and the ingenuity of the human spirit might once again coalesce into a symphony of survival and renewal. Beneath the veneer of the desert city, where the relentless sun could not reach, lay hidden a chamber that was a sanctuary to the shadows of the past. Here, in this clandestine enclave, Eirian and Mara, through a veil of secrecy, beheld the gathering of a cult, their devotion not to deities of myth but to the relics of old-world technology. The scene was a tableau vivant of humanity's unyielding pursuit of its resurrection, a quest that danced perilously on the edge of salvation and damnation. The chamber, aglow with the eerie light of machines that hummed with forgotten purpose, was alive with the fervor of the cultists. They encircled the device, their centerpiece of worship, which they believed held the key to restoring the world to its pre-apocalyptic splendor. Eirian and Mara, ensconced in the shadows, watched with a mix of fascination and foreboding, aware of the dangerous allure that these relics represented. As they retreated from the chamber, the weight of their discovery pressed upon them, sparking a debate that mirrored the dichotomy of the world above. They seek to mend the world with the very tools that tore it asunder, Eirian mused, their voice a whisper in the dark. Is it wisdom to walk once more the path that led to our ruin? Mara, her mind a battleground of pragmatism and idealism, countered, but if such technology could be harnessed, directed by a moral compass, might we not reclaim what was lost? Is it not our duty to explore every avenue to survival? This discourse, set against the backdrop of their nocturnal sojourn, delved into the heart of the moral dilemma that faced not just them but the remnants of humanity. Eirian, with the perspective of ages, spoke of the elves' understanding of balance, of the harmony between creation and nature that had once been. Our magic, they explained, was never just a force wielded but a dialogue with the essence of life. The technology of the old world, however, sought not dialogue but dominion, and in its hubris, it sowed the seeds of its destruction. Mara, her resolve tempered by the wisdom of Eirian's words, acknowledged the gravity of their caution. Yet, we stand on the precipice of oblivion, with the fragments of the past hour only lanterns in the dark. How do we choose the path forward when each step could be our salvation or our undoing? Their debate, a microcosm of the challenges that lay ahead, underscored the complexity of rebuilding a world from the ashes of its folly. The allure of the old world's technology was undeniable, its promise of restoration a siren song to a civilization in exile from its future. Yet, in the echoes of Eirian's memories and the remnants of the cult's fervor lay a cautionary tale of the price of unchecked ambition. In this moment of reflection, Eirian and Mara recognized that their journey and the future of the world they sought to rebuild hinged not on the relics of the past, but on the wisdom with which they navigated the delicate balance between innovation and hubris. Their alliance, forged in the shadow of the world's end, was a testament to the possibility of a new beginning, one that honored the lessons of the past while courageously charting a course toward a future yet unwritten. Thus, as they emerged from the depths, the first light of dawn greeted them, a symbol of the new day that awaited not just them but all who dared to dream of a world reborn. Their debate, unresolved yet illuminating, remained with them as they continued their quest, a beacon guiding their steps through the uncertain terrain of a world in the throes of rebirth. In the wake of their discovery within the shadowed enclave of the cult, Eirian, alongside Mara and their band of human compatriots, stood on the cusp of a journey that would delve deep into the annals of ancient wisdom and forgotten lore. The elf, bearing the weight of centuries and the hope of their dwindling kind, revealed the existence of technology, not of human make, but of elfin craft, ancient mechanisms designed to commune with the very essence of the earth, to heal and to harmonize. This revelation, imparted beneath the burgeoning dawn, was met with a blend of awe and incredulity. The group, gathered around the remnants of their nocturnal fire, listened as Eirian described the technology in hushed tones, their words painting images of a world reborn, of lands lush and verdant where desolation once reigned. Long before the folly of man's ambition cast this world into shadow, Eirian began, their gaze distant, we, the elfin folk, walked a path of equilibrium with the natural order. The technology we wrought from the earth was a testament to this bond, a synergy of magic and material designed not to dominate but to nurture. Yet, as Eirian delved deeper into the lore of their people, a shadow crossed their visage, a reflection of the internal tumult that accompanied their recollection. But such power, they continued, carries with it a burden, a responsibility that we, in our hubris, failed to comprehend fully. The calamity that befell the world was not of our making, yet we were not untouched by the arrogance that led to it. Mara, ever the pragmatist, seized upon Eirian's hesitation. But if this technology can restore what was lost, can it not also offer us a path forward? Is the risk not worth the potential to reclaim our future? The group, emboldened by Mara's resolve, rallied to the cause, yet Eirian remained ensnared in a thicket of doubt and hope. The path to redemption is fraught with peril, they warned. To wield such technology is to walk a razor's edge between salvation and further damnation. We tread this path not out of certainty but in the hope that we might not repeat the errors of the past. The debate that ensued, spirited and fraught with the gravity of their undertaking, revealed the myriad layers of their quest. It was not merely a search for lost technology, but a pilgrimage towards understanding, the reconciliation of elfin wisdom with human ingenuity, the forging of a new covenant with the earth itself. As they set forth from the city, the desert landscape stretching before them like a canvas awaiting the brush of renewal, their journey took on the mantle of myth, a quest for the holy grail of their age. The technology they sought, shrouded in the mists of Eirian's memory and the legends of elfin kind, became a beacon guiding their steps, a promise of healing and a test of their collective will. The specters of past mistakes shadowed the road ahead, the looming threat of history repeating its darkest chapters. Yet, in the heart of Eirian, amid the tempest of doubt and hope, a resolve took root, a determination to see the quest through, to offer the world a chance at redemption, however uncertain the outcome. And so, beneath the gaze of a sun that bore witness to the rise and fall of civilizations, Eirian and the survivors ventured into the unknown, their hearts alight with the possibility of a world reborn, their steps an echo of the ancient pact between elf and earth, a hymn to the potential for harmony in a world scarred by discord. The quest for the lost elf technology, a saga of hope and healing, had begun. As the group ventured further into the heart of a world reborn from the ashes of its own destruction, their quest for the lost elf technology led them into territories where the remnants of civilization clashed with the wild resurgence of nature. The journey was a testament to the resilience of those who dared to dream of a better future, but it was not without its trials. Amidst the rugged expanse of a landscape that bore the scars of past calamities, a crisis of nature's making sought to test their resolve. A sandstorm, born from the wrath of the desert, descended upon them with a fury that spoke of the earth's raw power. Visibility was reduced to naught, and the abrasive winds threatened to erase their presence from the world. Eirian, their elfin senses attuned to the subtleties of the natural world, called upon the ancient wisdom of their kind. Form a circle, shield one another, they instructed that our voice a beacon in the maelstrom. The group, driven by instinct and trust, huddled close, their bodies bulwark against the relentless sands. In this moment of peril, the distinctions between elf and human faded into insignificance, replaced by the singular identity of survivors fighting for a shared future. Mara, her leadership never more vital, coordinated their efforts, her voice cutting through the howl of the wind. Stay together, rely on each other's strength. We will not be broken by the storm. The ordeal, a crucible of their collective will, revealed not just the vulnerabilities of each member but the strength that lay in their unity. Jaw, the quiet strength of the group, used his knowledge of the land to predict the storm's path, guiding them to a semblance of shelter beneath an overhang of rock. As the storm raged around them, a debate of a different nature took root within the shelter of their makeshift refuge. The question at hand was not one of survival against the elements, but of the moral implications of their quest. What if this technology we seek, posited a survivor, brings with it consequences we cannot foresee? Are we prepared to wield such power? Eirian, their eyes reflecting the storm's chaos and the depth of their inner turmoil, responded, "It is a burden we carry, the possibility of repeating the mistakes of the past. But in our hands lies the opportunity to forge a different outcome, to use the wisdom of our experiences to guide us." The crisis, both the storm and their ethical dilemma, served as a stark reminder of the stakes of their journey. It was a confrontation with the elemental forces of the world and the internal forces of their doubts and hopes. As the storm abated, leaving behind a world washed clean of its immediate past, the group emerged from their shelter, their resolve hardened by the trial. The journey ahead remained fraught with unknowns, but in the aftermath of the storm, they found a renewed sense of purpose. Their quest for the lost elf technology, a symbol of hope and healing, was also a journey into the heart of what it meant to be stewards of a world on the brink of rebirth. The challenges they faced, both external and internal, were but stepping stones on the path to understanding, the realization that the future they sought to build was not just about the restoration of the land, but the reconciliation of humanity with the world it called home. And so, under the clearing skies, the group pressed on, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that together, they possessed the strength to face whatever lay ahead. In the shadowed heart of their journey, beneath the indifferent gaze of a world scarred by its creations, a moment of profound betrayal unfolded. The group, once united by a shared vision of redemption, found itself ensnared in the web of human frailty and ambition. At the center of this tempest stood Mara and Eirian, two figures drawn together by fate yet now divided by the very mission that had bound them. Mara, whose leadership had steered them through the desolation, confronted Eirian with a resolve that belied the turmoil within. Her voice, though steady, carried the weight of a decision that had haunted her steps long before this moment. "Eirian," she began, her gaze locked with the elf's, "your vision for the world, it's too idealistic. We need to seize control, to use the technology not just to heal but to ensure we're never vulnerable again." The group, silent witnesses to this schism, watched as the fabric of their unity began to unravel. Eirian, betrayed yet undiminished, regarded Mara with a calm that spoke of centuries of wisdom. "Mara," they replied, their voice a balm to the tension that crackled in the air, "to wield such power with the intent to dominate, to control, is to repeat the mistakes that led us here. We stand on the brink of a new dawn, but it must be born of understanding, of harmony, not the iron grip of fear." Mara's motivations, laid bare before the group, were not born of malice but a fierce desire to protect her people from the uncertainty of the future. The scars of the past, the losses that had shaped her, drove her to desperation that clouded her judgment. "I've seen what happens when we're weak, when we're divided. The technology can give us strength and security. Isn't our survival worth that risk?" The debate that ensued was a storm of emotion and ideology, a clash of visions for the future of their world. Eirian, standing at the crossroads of history and possibility, sought to guide the group back to the path of wisdom. "The strength you seek," they implored, "lies not in the machines of the past, but in the unity of our purpose. To heal the earth, to restore the balance requires more than power, it requires the courage to embrace a new way of being." This moment of crisis, a betrayal born of love and fear, forced the group to confront their shadows and their doubts. It was a reflection of the world outside, a world that had lost its way in the pursuit of dominion over nature, over each other. As the tension reached its zenith, the group faced a choice: to fracture under the weight of their differences or to forge a new understanding from the crucible of their conflict. In the end, it was the recognition of their shared humanity, of the common thread of hope that had drawn them together, that prevailed. Mara, moved by the depth of Eirian's conviction and the unwavering support of the group, stepped back from the precipice of her ambition. "Perhaps," she conceded, "there is strength in the hope of what we can become, not just in the fear of what we were." In the aftermath of their confrontation, as the group rekindled the bonds that had been tested by fire, they emerged not weakened but strengthened. They understood now that the journey they had undertaken was not just a quest for lost technology but a pilgrimage towards a deeper understanding of what it meant to be custodians of a world on the brink of rebirth. And so, with renewed resolve and a unity tempered by the trials of betrayal and reconciliation, they continued their journey, a beacon of hope in a landscape yearning for healing. The path ahead was fraught with unknowns, but in their hearts, they carried the promise of a new dawn, born not of the ashes of the old world, but of the seeds of a new beginning. In the hushed serenity that followed the storm of betrayal and reconciliation, Eirian stood at the precipice of discovery, the ancient elf technology before them humming with a life force that whispered of ages long past. The wasteland around them, a testament to the resilience of nature, began to stir with the promise of regeneration, a silent witness to the revelation that unfolded. Eirian, their figure a solitary silhouette against the burgeoning revival of the land, was enveloped in a moment of profound contemplation. The technology, an artifact of elfin ingenuity, revealed its true potential not merely as a tool for healing the earth but as a catalyst for redefining the very essence of existence in the wasteland. The revelation was as monumental as it was daunting. Eirian, who had walked the world as both guardian and wanderer, found themselves standing at the confluence of history and the future, carrying the weight of their ancestors' legacy and the hope of those yet to come. The technology's power to change the nature of life itself held within it the promise of a new dawn, yet it also bore the burden of responsibility, a testament to the delicate balance that governed all things. As the initial awe of discovery gave way to the gravity of their task, Eirian sought solace in the connection to the land and the ancient wisdom of their kin. They closed their eyes, their senses reaching out to the whispering winds, the murmuring earth, the life force that pulsed through the nascent greenery around them. It was a communion of spirit and nature, a plea for guidance in the face of a challenge that transcended time. The ancestors, their voices a soft echo in the fabric of the world, spoke of humility, of the reverence for life that had always been at the heart of elfin magic. To wield such power, they intoned, is to walk a path of stewardship, to honor the sacred trust between the guardian and the guarded. Eirian, their contemplation of a bridge between realms, understood that the task ahead was not one of dominion but of harmony. The technology, for all its potential, was but a tool. The true transformation lay in the hands that wielded it, in the hearts that guided its use. With the dawn casting its first light upon a world on the brink of renewal, Eirian turned to face the group, their resolve forged in the crucible of revelation. The technology we seek, they proclaimed, is more than a means to heal the earth. It is a call to redefine our relationship with the world, to rebuild not in the image of the past but with the vision of a future where all life flourishes in balance. The group, united by their journey through doubt and discovery, stood ready to follow Eirian's lead. Together, they embarked on the next phase of their quest, not just as seekers of lost technology but as architects of a new legacy, one that would weave together the threads of elfin magic, human ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit of the natural world. Their path was set, a journey not only across the physical landscape but through the moral and ethical terrains that their mission unveiled. With each step, they moved closer to the realization of their dream, guided by the wisdom of the past and the promise of a future reborn from the ashes of the old world's follies. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the wasteland in a twilight that blurred the lines between day and night, the final confrontation unfolded, a battle not just for control of the wasteland but for the soul of the future itself. At the heart of this epic clash stood Eirian, the embodiment of ancient wisdom and power, and Mara, the human embodiment of resilience and leadership, united against the cult that sought to harness old-world technology for dominion rather than harmony. The air crackled with the energy of opposing forces as the group, bolstered by the unity forged through trials and revelations, faced the cultists. The battlefield, set against the backdrop of a world hanging in the balance, became a canvas upon which the final act of their journey was etched. Eirian, channeling the ancient magics of their lineage, stood as a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Their power, manifestation of the natural world's plea for restoration, clashed with the cold, hard machinery wielded by the cult. The contrast between the fluidity of magic and the rigidity of technology painted a vivid picture of the struggle between two visions for the future. Mara, her voice a rallying cry that cut through the din of battle, led her people with a courage that inspired those around her. Together, they fought not just for survival, but for a dream of what the wasteland could become, a place where life could flourish once again. As the battle raged, the tide turned, swayed by the group's resolve and the potent force of Eirian's magic. The cult, overwhelmed by the combined might of human spirit and elfin power, faltered, their vision of a world remade in the image of the past crumbling before the onslaught. In the aftermath of the confrontation, as the dust settled and the echoes of conflict faded into the silence of the wasteland, Eirian found themselves face to face with a former adversary from the cult. The moment, charged with the remnants of battle, was also imbued with the possibility of forgiveness and understanding. The cultist, their resolve shattered by the realization of their folly, looked upon Eirian with a mix of fear and awe. What now? They asked the question, a reflection of the uncertainty that lay in the wake of their defeated ambitions. Eirian, their gaze steady and imbued with the wisdom of ages, replied, "Now, we heal. Not just the land, but ourselves. Your desire to restore the world was not misguided, it was only the means you chose. Join us in building a future that honors the balance between man, magic, and machine." This moment of reconciliation, tentative yet charged with potential, was a testament to the difficult path that lay ahead. The world they sought to rebuild was one of complexity and nuance, where the lessons of the past would guide the creation of a new order rooted in respect for all forms of life. As the group, now larger by one, turned their gaze toward the horizon, the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of hope and renewal. The journey that had begun as a quest for lost technology had evolved into a pilgrimage toward a deeper understanding of existence itself. The wasteland, once a symbol of the end, now held the promise of a beginning, a canvas upon which a new world, born of the synthesis of elfin magic, human determination, and the reclaimed wisdom of the old world, could be envisioned. In this new dawn, the group stood not as victors over a fallen foe, but as architects of a future where the harmony of life could once again flourish. And so, with hearts buoyed by the promise of what lay ahead, they stepped into the light of a new day, ready to face the challenges and joys of building a world that would stand as a monument to their journey, a world reborn from the ashes of its history, a testament to the power of unity and the enduring spirit of hope. In the aftermath of their climactic confrontation, as the wasteland began to whisper tales of renewal and life, Eirian and the survivors, their spirits tempered by trials and illuminated by triumphs, embarked upon their most ambitious endeavor yet, the laying of the foundation for a new society. This society, envisioned as a harmonious blend of the wisdom of the old world and the untamed promise of the new, emerged as a beacon of hope in a landscape reborn. The project that symbolized their collective aspiration was no mere endeavor of construction, but a testament to the delicate balance between nature and technology they sought to achieve. It was here, in the heart of a valley that had once known only the desolation of the wasteland, that they began the cultivation of the land, guided by the ancient elf technology now repurposed to heal and nurture. The challenges they faced were manifold, a mosaic of practical and ideological hurdles that tested the very foundation of their nascent society. One such challenge was the establishment of a sustainable irrigation system, a project that embodied the convergence of elfin magic and human ingenuity. Eirian, standing amidst the verdant fields that swayed with the promise of abundance, outlined the vision. To restore the balance between Earth and its inhabitants, we must weave together the streams of ancient wisdom with the rivulets of discoveries. This irrigation system, powered by the energy of the Earth itself, shall serve as a symbol of our commitment to a future where technology serves not to dominate but to harmonize. Mara, her hands soiled with the earth she sought to protect, faced the practicalities of integrating such technology with the natural landscape. The challenge, she posited, her gaze sweeping across the community that had rallied to their cause, lies not in the harnessing of this power but in its integration. We must ensure that our use of technology respects the rhythms of the land and that it aids in its healing rather than imposing upon it. The group, a diverse assembly of survivors, each bringing their skills and perspectives to the table, engaged in spirited debate and collaboration. They tackled issues of resource allocation, the sustainability of their practices, and the ethical implications of their technological use. It was a microcosm of the more significant dialogue that underpinned their entire journey, the quest for a way of life that could sustain not just the physical needs of their community but the spiritual and ecological balance of the world they inhabited. As the irrigation system took shape, powered by a blend of solar energy and the subtle magics that Eirian wove into its design, the valley began to flourish. The project, once a dream etched in the hearts of those who dared to imagine a new beginning, became a living testament to the power of unity and the potential of a society that revered the symbiosis of nature and technology. In this endeavor, and the many that would follow, Eirian and the survivors laid the groundwork for a society that stood as a beacon of hope in a world reborn. It was a society that embraced the complexities of its heritage and recognized the scars of its past while reaching, with steadfast resolve, toward the promise of its future. And so, as the sun set on a day marked by toil and triumph, Eirian stood once more in contemplation, their gaze cast over the land that bore the fruits of their labor. In the quiet that enveloped the valley, in the whisper of the wind and the rustle of the growing fields, lay the echoes of a world transformed, a world that, through the unity of its inhabitants and the wisdom of its guardians, had found a new path forward, a path illuminated by the delicate dance of magic and machinery, of humanity and the heart of the earth. In the verdant embrace of a world reborn, beneath the boughs of trees whispering tales of resilience and renewal, Eirian stood, a figure of ancient wisdom and timeless grace amidst a circle of young learners. This gathering, a mosaic of human and elfin children, represented the dawn of a new era, one where the lessons of the past illuminated the path forward. The air was alive with the palpable sense of wonder that only the innocence of youth could foster. Eirian, holding a small, glowing piece of elf technology, began to weave a tale not of heroes and battles but of the intricate dance of life that bound all beings to the world they shared. Long before the time of desolation, Eirian began, their voice a gentle cadence that mirrored the rustle of leaves. The earth was a tapestry of life, woven from the countless threads of beings great and small. Each thread, vital to the whole, contributed to the harmony that sustained the world. The children, their eyes wide with fascination, watched as Eirian used the elf technology to conjure images of the world as it once was, a symphony of biodiversity where every creature, every plant, played a part in maintaining the balance of life. This, Eirian continued, gesturing to the vibrant world around them, is the legacy we strive to reclaim. But to do so, we must understand that survival is not enough. We must learn to live with respect for all beings, recognizing that our lives are intertwined with the world we inhabit. The lesson, simple yet profound, resonated with the children, a seed of wisdom planted in the fertile ground of their young minds. Eirian spoke of the responsibility that accompanied the knowledge and power of their ancestors, of the need to tread lightly upon the earth, to listen to its needs as one would a dear friend. To heal the world, Eirian imparted, is to heal ourselves. It requires us to look beyond our immediate desires to see the world not as a resource to be exploited but as a sacred trust to be cherished. As the lesson drew to a close, the children, now guardians of this nascent wisdom, dispersed, their laughter a melody that carried the promise of a brighter future. Eirian watched them go, a sense of fulfillment suffusing their being. This was their legacy, not the battles fought or the challenges overcome, but the passing on of values that would guide the new generation in building a society where balance and harmony prevailed. In this moment of quiet reflection, Eirian understood that the true power of the elf technology was not in its ability to change the landscape but in its potential to inspire change within the hearts of those who wielded it. The future, uncertain yet ripe with possibility, lay in the hands of those who would grow under the shade of the new world they had helped to cultivate, a world where respect for life and the interconnectedness of all beings formed the bedrock of society. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of hope and promise, Eirian stood alone, a bridge between the ages, their heart buoyed by the knowledge that the legacy they had helped to forge would endure, nurtured by the wisdom of the past and the boundless potential of the future.